Hey, YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is the Real Nathan Daly, and I'm your law enforcement translator. And I'm here just to provide insight on these current event issues and topics as it relates to this country. And as you guys, if you have not heard about the tragic mass shooting that occurred in Tennessee this morning, you guys, we're going to cover it. But before we dive into that, prayers goes out to the family, the friends, those who have lost someone in this tragedy. You guys, unfortunately, we've lost 6 people, 3 adults, 3 children, have all lost their lives behind this senseless crime. And you guys, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the suspect. We're going to talk about President Biden, the statement he made in reference to these mass shootings, and then we're going to look at some data. So before we get into that, you guys, welcome to the channel. If you're not familiar, please join, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Would love to have you part of this channel. So what happened, you guys, this morning? There was a mass shooting. They have shot and killed the suspect, a 23-year-old female, white female, out of Tennessee. I believe the female is a transgender or something like that. So I don't know if it's if she or he's a male or female. Like I don't know the details, but we do know it's a woman that has transitioned, I guess, with whatever. So anyways, the name of the suspect is Audrey Hale, I believe. And they're saying the suspect used to attend this particular school, the Covenant Presbyterian Church. And so what we do know is that the suspect had put together a manifesto, also a map and a layout of the school. Apparently there is a motive. They haven't released it as of yet. So we don't really know the reason why for this particular action that this suspect took against these children. Now, so let's dive into a news clip to give you just kind of a summary overview as to what happened, where they are now. This is one of the most recent clips. Then we're going to dive into the statements that President Biden made. And then we're going to talk about what solutions, if any, as it relates to school shootings, mass shootings, and gun violence just in general.
All 9 years or younger, and 3 adults were shot and killed at a Christian elementary school in Nashville.
The shooter, 28-year-old Audrey Hale of Nashville, is also dead. Police say she is a transgender woman and was a former student at the school.
Police say they believe she shot through a door to get into the school. Jonathan Siri has more on this heartbreaking story.
She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots.
A 28-year-old woman opens fire inside a private Christian elementary school in Nashville, killing 3 children and 3 staff members before being shot and killed by police. It happened Monday morning at the Covenant School, a Presbyterian school of some 200 students ranging from preschool to 6th grade. According to police, the first report of shots fired came in around 10:13 a.m. Minutes later, a team of officers responded and began clearing the building.
When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
5 of the victims, 3 children and 2 adults, were rushed to the hospital and were later pronounced dead. Nashville police say no one else was hurt. And while it's still unclear how the woman is connected to the school, police say she was heavily armed with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. Monday afternoon, President Biden sent his condolences to the families impacted and also called on Congress to do more to stop gun violence.
So as you just heard, very tragic situation. Thank God for the police, you guys. They responded quickly and eliminated the threat immediately. They wasted no time, you guys. They very much well have saved the lives of more children and more adults. I'm pretty sure that the teachers and the kids inside the school responded accordingly and making sure they kept themselves safe during this situation, guys. So again, but we're gonna touch on something really quick because I want you to get this next piece, right? But now what they say, right, in reference to the shooter got entry into the school by shooting off the door, shooting a lock, right? And I guess people don't understand, like, if a suspect wants to get access, they're going to get access. At the same time, it doesn't mean that you don't do the best you can to fortify a place appropriately in order to keep out a dangerous suspect, you guys. In a situation like this, what do you do if a suspect shoots off the lock? What do you do if a suspect drives their car through a door and then gains access into a facility, you guys? There's always going to be a way into a facility if someone really wants to get in. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we don't do our best to fortify and protect the people that's within it. I've had cases where suspects have driven a car through a door to gain entry. You guys, so again, when we start having these questions as what can we do, we have to also be realistic. When someone is going to make 100% effort to try to gain entry, they've done the research, you guys, all you can do then is try to protect yourself from within that, and then also practice good safety measures as it relates to an active shooter. So now let's talk about what did Biden say? What was his response, you guys? President Biden made a response in reference to this immediately, and I was a little bit disappointed, you guys. I want to play the video. I'm going to explain to you why I had an issue with his response. All too often, everything gets politicized in this country, and it makes you wonder whether or not the intentions behind the comments are genuine.
Before I begin to speak, the reason I spent a little time in the kids, I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children. It's heartbreaking, a family's worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly, within minutes, to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know. And we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress, but there's more to learn. But I just wanted to send my concern and hearts out to so many parents out there. I've been to so many of these sites, as Ben knows, by virtually every.
So let me pause him there because he takes forever to get it out. But what's the reality of the statement that he made, you guys? The truth of the matter is there has been an assault ban there has been a ban on assault rifles before in this country back in 1994. Those may not remember, and we're going to look at the data. Does it really have an impact, right? A couple things that Biden mentioned just quickly. You know, 1, this is a tragedy. 2, it happens a lot. It does happen too often, right? Gun violence is a problem in this country. That's also a fact, and we do know that. I want to say even I would lend to that 90% of the murders or 95% of the murders, you guys, are done or carried out with the use of a handgun, a weapon. But more so, you're more likely to be killed by a handgun than you are an assault rifle. That's also very true. And a lot of times people don't want to state that fact, right? A lot of people are saying, well, it's the issue that you can kill multiple people fairly quickly with an assault rifle. You can conduct a mass shooting with an assault rifle, not necessarily with a handgun. You guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? A weapon is a weapon, a gun or handgun. The outcome is still going to be the same. Right. So though I do understand, though, the distinguishing between the two, banning assault rifles is not going to solve the actual problem of gun violence in the country. Guns, right? Guns, as just as it is a problem. Banning guns is not going to fix the problem because the issue is not necessarily the gun itself, but people, right? People, the mentality, the culture of America is the problem that needs to be examined. Right? A gun simply does what a gun does. People use guns as an extension of their expression. That's all it is at the end of the day, right? And to be quite honest, according to the data, you're more likely to be killed by a knife than you are with an assault rifle. So we're going to take a look at everything because I want to get your thoughts on it, right? Again, what made me disappointed what Biden said, right? Immediately he jumps into politics and he goes into banning assault rifles. You know, this is not the time to talk about politics, right? Children, people have died behind this and in other incidents like it. The conversation needs to go towards how do we secure these schools better? How do we protect the kids better? How do we teach them how to maneuver when these events take place? Are we looking at what type of doors, locks, safety features? What can we do? What can we add? How do we fortify, right? Because you're not going to get rid of guns. You're not going to get rid of sick people. You're not going to get rid of people who have mental health problems. Like, that's not going anywhere, right? We have a culture problem in this country as it relates to guns and violence. That is the issue, right? And so I think when we start jumping into making a political statement, we need to push and sign my gun, gun pew 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 out of the law. Like, no, come on, right? But now let's listen though. They did do a gun ban. It did make a difference in reference to assault rifles. So let's take a look at that, right? Because here's the thing: if you haven't seen the suspect, I'll show you what the suspect looks like. This is Audrey Hale, right? This is a white woman. I said 23. She's 28 years old. She's a transgender, right? She attended the school before. So we don't know, again, what the motive was. We know she had a manifesto. We know that she came with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. We know she blew the lock off the door. We don't know what her motive was, outside the fact that she's sick. She lost it, right? She lost it. So as more of this unfolds, you guys, I think the more important question is, what does the data show? What happened? What happened in 1994? So Congress ended up passing a law. Bill Clinton signed it, and it's called the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, also referred to as the 1994 Crime Bill, the Clinton Crime Bill. Right? This is what we're talking about here, and inside this bill, you guys, listen. Here's what was covered: federal assault weapons ban. This is assault weapons, formerly known as the Public Safety and Recreational Firearms Use Protection Act, but commonly known as the Federal Awareness Weapons Ban, of semi-automatic firearms ban, barred from the manufacture of 19 specific semi-automatic firearms classified as assault weapons, as well as semi-automatic rifles, pistols, shotguns capable of accepting detachable magazines that has 2 or more features considered characteristics of such weapons. This list of such features included telescoping or folding stocks, pistol grips, flash suppressors, grenade launchers, and bayonet. So these are the restrictions. The ban took effect September 13th, 1994, expired September 13, 2004. Since the expiration date, there is no federal ban on subject firearms and magazine capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition. So this is how it all went down, you guys. This is what it was. All right. Let's look at the actual data, though, that supports this, right? So if we're looking at the data from Statista, it's breaking it down in 10-year increments. So if we look right here, when the actual assault ban was created in 1994 between 2004, what they are saying is the number of incidents that they've had were 15. The number of deaths were 96 within this 10-year span. You fast forward to after 2004, between 2004 and 2014, another 10-year span, there were 35 incidences and 296 deaths, right? And now we fast forward to 2014 to 2022, there was 41 incidents and 429 deaths. So they could make a strong argument to suggest that, yeah, if you enforce a level of banning, right, some levels of restrictions or more aggressive restrictions into assault rifles, whether it's reduced magazine capacities, which I don't see anything wrong with that per se, or whatever, right? Any type of just a little bit more restrictions, there is a impact. The data would suggest and agree to that, right? The data definitely agrees with that. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with making some adjustments to the law if they believe that the data can support a reduction in deaths by assault rifles, right? This is not going to be reducing the deaths against handguns, because again, there's already laws against people, modifying their handgun. Because at the end of the day, you guys, to be completely honest, people can modify a handgun and then get the same exact results, right? So we're going to look at this data right here. This is according to the FBI crime statistics, and this is in reference to how many people died by use of what weapons, right? And this is data from 2019. I think this is a very good example to touch on what I just mentioned earlier. This is data collected from 13,922 homicides across the United States in 2019. What is it showing us from a breakdown, right? Out of the homicides, 10,258 of these homicides were committed with the use of a firearm. And out of those, 364 of those homicides were in use of a rifle, you guys. That is a big, big, big deal, right? If we look right here at this pie chart, this is what it's showing us right here. 6,000, right? 6,000 deaths committed, or the weapon that was used to commit these homicides was a handgun, you guys. Right here at the bottom right, you have assault rifles. Right here, 364 at the bottom right, 2%. Right here right here in the middle, look at knives or cutting instruments, 10%. Okay, 10%. Other weapons, 11%. Hands and feet, etc. You guys, people just using their hands and feet, just really assaulting somebody, killing them, 4%. You guys, you're more likely to die, right? You're more likely to be a victim of homicide via handgun, hands, feet, and a knife or other weapons. You guys, assault rifle makes up 2% of the homicides. So this lends again to the point I made earlier that there's a issue with American culture and how we behave and how we use violence as a way to solve our disagreements or our problems, right? Even if we were to scroll down, I like this side. I'll put a link to this site. It has some really great data on here. If we look at which states have the highest percentage of homicides, right here we have 75% of homicides. Maryland, 68%. In Georgia, 62, Pennsylvania, 61, in Mississippi, then Nebraska, Wyoming, Arizona, South Carolina, Oklahoma. The top 10 states with the highest percentage of homicides using a handgun, you guys. I'm in Georgia. We're number 2. That's crazy. Maryland's number 1. Not surprised. Top 10 states with the highest homicides with the use of a rifle. Number 1 is Vermont. Then we got West Virginia, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, North Carolina, Missouri. But if think about it, makes sense with the landscape out there, right, in the Midwest. And then last is Oklahoma. So very interesting data right here, you guys. I will put a link to this so if you want to kind of look at it yourself, just kind of to review it. Again, this is not to say that, weapons aren't dangerous. This is not to say, again, that this is not to say that weapons aren't dangerous. This is not to say that assault rifles, we don't need to have better laws in place. This is to say, let's not be unrealistic. Let's be mindful that, again, the issue is people. The issue is the people's behavior. It's not necessarily the weapon itself, but having some common sense laws, I think, is appropriate. At the same time, we can create these laws, enforce laws without infringing on people's Second Amendment rights. So again, what should those things look like, you guys? I'm really curious to see what you think. At the end of the day, gun violence is a problem, and it's more to do with people and less to do with the gun. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in reference to that. Again, prayers out to the family and those who were affected by this tragedy. With that being said, have a good night and God bless.